Welcome back to Spotlight on Vegas Business, the premier business lunch show.
Premier, you're making me hungry.
I know. Well,
Are people eating out there? Do you have anything you'd like to share? If you'd like to call and discuss your business lunch with me, because that's what I have in my mind right now.
That'll just make you hungrier.
702-221-7283. Otherwise, we're going to introduce our lunch buddy
Yes,
to
we
the
are.
show.
He's from our West Valley chapter that meets on Tuesdays. Patrick, welcome. Sorry, I believe I got your business name wrong when I announced
Jordan.
you.
No sweat. It's all good. Black Mountain Wealth Management.
Yes, you will manage anybody's wealth, regardless of creed, nationality,
Yes.
gender, background. They need some wealth management. You're
That
gonna
is
you're gonna
correct.
take care of it. So, Patrick, tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in this money game?
Man, I'll tell you what, it's probably about 23, 24 years.
Wow, you're old.
Started here in Vegas. Graduated from San Francisco State right into a California recession. A friend of mine was living here in Vegas. Said this place is booming. Packed up my car and haven't left.
Oh,
And so I started off at we're talking when the ground floor, that was me. I was the guy that did the cold calling, went out and got the broker's lunches and, cleaned the car, get the oil changed, pick up the dry cleaning, make bookcases and desks. So I started off the hard way. But we've been in business now. I've owned Black Mountain Wealth Management now for about 5 years, and my wife and I are the two owners of it. And what I'm passionate about financial planning and wealth management is that just recently I was looking through one of the I think it was the Las Vegas Business Press, and I opened it up, and second page in there is an article that, for all intents and purposes, said that if you live in Vegas, you probably have the worst money habits of anyone in the country.
Is that right?
Yes.
I can believe that, definitely, because it's so much temptation to do things that you shouldn't be doing with your money.
True, but the thing is this, is that let's face it, Las Vegas is a very real estate centric town. We can understand, touch, taste, and feel real estate, okay? When it comes to investments, financial investments, they're very intangible. You can't touch, taste, and feel a mutual fund or a stock or a bond.
Right.
Yes, if you own shares of Ford Motor Company, you can go out there and hug a Taurus, but I don't necessarily think that that's something that makes you warm and fuzzy inside. But the one thing about wealth management is that I think what people fear the most is that they just don't understand it. And one of my goals that I've put together, and this is probably what most of my clients would tell you that I do better than most others, is I educate people about what it is that they have and what they own and why they own it. When people come to me, I want them to understand their money. Okay? First off, it's not mine, it's theirs. And if they don't know what they're doing with their money or why they have it or how it goes up or how it goes down or what the advantages or the disadvantages are of owning these particular investments, I'm doing them a serious disservice. Okay? I'm hoping that their money lasts a lot longer than they do. Okay? That's my goal.
Okay.
I know that there are some people out there that they want to spend or they want to clutch in their hand the last quarter that they own, but that usually never happens. So if I could have been a teacher, I would have, but it just doesn't. Let's face it, they don't pay enough. So this is how I educate people. But by sitting down and explaining to people what a stock is, what a bond is, what a mutual fund is, how they work, what are the advantages and the disadvantages, and really getting them to understand, what I get is a much better educated client. 2, I get a much calmer client. That peace of mind knowing, hey, listen, I understand why I have this investment. I understand what's going on. Oh, yeah, guess what? Pat told me that this could do this or it could do that. Makes for a much better financial relationship. Now, when people sit there and think of wealth management, and they think about an investment advisor, they think, well, hey, I've got all these tips and things to make all the money in the world. And that's not necessarily the case. What ends up happening, my job as I see it, isn't to make you rich. It's to keep you from being poor. Okay? Now, where some of the best and brightest ideas I have in saving people money have nothing to do with investments.
Okay.
What I mean by that is I had a client one time who he'd been my client for a couple of years, and we were sitting down and we were talking, and I just noticed that something was off with him. Something just didn't sound right. Couldn't put my finger on it, but he just didn't sound right. Well, anyway, I was sitting down and I was talking to his wife and his daughter, and I said, "Hey, listen, do you guys have a living trust?" They wasn't, "No, we don't." And I said, "You might want to get one." Well, to make a long story short, the last piece of paper that the gentleman signed while he was conscious was the living trust. Okay, he actually had a brain tumor. Okay, and when the client and her daughter sat down with the estate planning attorney and the CPAs, they said that they saved approximately $450,000 just by signing that piece of paper,
Wow.
just in estate taxes.
So now, do you think you had a relationship with that gentleman that you could sense that something was off physically? What led you to that intuitive thought to have him do that?
Yeah, I'm curious about
What ends up happening is it when I sit down and I have a conversation, or I should say when I have a financial relationship with somebody, I tend to get to know them pretty intimately, and we tend to have more than just one conversation every 6 months. All right. When I know what somebody's thinking and talking about, you just kind of have a sense. You're like, something's off. The questions that he would normally ask or she would ask might not be there. But my point is this, is that it's the holistic advice. All right, taking the client as a whole, saying, "Hey, listen, it's not just your investments that I'm worried about, okay? It's about your beneficiaries." I just recently had some clients step into my office. They'd just gotten married maybe about a year ago or so. Well, none of their beneficiaries reflected each other.
Right.
So all of a sudden, if something happened to either one of them, all that money would have gone to somebody else.
Yeah.
By sitting down and talking about beneficiaries and wills and trusts and college savings plans, and bringing up these very center things that people will face throughout their lifetime, okay, including life insurance, etc. These are the things that can make the difference between, a family surviving and thriving,
So
really, getting into some serious trouble.
So Patrick, do you sell life insurance as well, or is this just something that you advise and work in concert with other the rest of the CPAs and the insurance advisors and the rest of the folks that are in that person's financial makeup?
Well, to answer the first question, do I sell life insurance? Yes, I do.
Okay.
But really, if you want a complete financial package, if you will, in terms of covering all your bases, if you can get the CPA, estate planning attorney, the financial advisor, and maybe even a business attorney, all in the same room, while checking all of our egos at the door, and
That's a
sitting
tough one.
down and saying, "Okay, here's the client, this is what they want, let's put together a plan that we all agree on." Now, if you can get that, that is about the most powerful thing an individual, especially a small business owner, can have. I mean, small business owners, let's just kind of, since this is a business show, let's kind of talk a little bit about small business owners. There's a tremendous amount of moving parts that a small business owner faces. And look, let's face it, we want to do what we do best, which is sell whatever it is. We'll just call it widgets, okay?
Okay.
So I want to focus on selling widgets. I don't want to focus in on whether, I should get a family limited partnership because I want to make sure that my kids are going to take over my business when I pass away. That's just not in the context of because we want to wake up and sell more widgets. Well, by having that triumvirate, that group cohesively put together that are saying, "Hey, look, these are the things you said you want. This is how we're going to get you there." No one has any egotistical, agenda here. It's all to put that business owner first and foremost, and to do what they think is best for that business owner based on what they want to do, or the business owner, that is. That doesn't happen often. It just doesn't. Well, and I understand it. Small business owners, they kind of keep their cards close to their vest. They don't like to let their CPA and their advisor and their investment advisor talk, or sometimes their estate planning attorney and the advisor talk, or the investment advisor and the business attorney. Sometimes they just don't want to. They don't want to have them all mixed together. But it really is the most powerful thing you can do as a business owner, is to get everybody in a room and say, "Hey, this is what I want to do. You guys figure out the most logical plan that you can for me."
So why do you think that is? That sometimes business owners won't want to get everyone in the room. Is there like a worry that they're going to be colluding against them? Is that what's with the separation of all of the parties?
Great question. I think people are different. They sometimes are very private. They no, that's my CPA. I trust him. I don't want him, and maybe it is a little bit of I don't want them to be biased.
You want to make sure that everyone has the same answer without speaking.
But the thing is this, is that if I don't get the information from the CPA about taxes, okay, point in case, I went to a client CPA recently and said, hey, look, this is what I'm thinking about doing in their account. Do they have a whole bunch of losses built up, or do they have gains that they're going to have to pay? So what do we need to do here? And the CPA said, you know what? I appreciate you coming and asking me. Because then that way he's on the same page as I am. We understand what's going on.
Yeah.
All right? Because there might be some times when you have tax situations that I have no idea that you have, because you haven't communicated that to me. Well, then I do something, I purchase an investment that's counterintuitive to whatever that tax situation may be. Well, that's counterintuitive to what I'm trying to do, which is give you the best plan possible. So when everybody communicates and everybody's on board, that client, that small business owner client, is served best. There is no more powerful situation than having all of your advisors on the same page.
Yeah.
Right. So if somebody needs to get hold of you, to get some advice, or what is the best way for people to get hold of you?
Well, best way is to pick up the phone and call. That's 702-684-5500.
Okay, or they can come visit at the West Valley chapter tomorrow.
And as a matter of fact, I think they would see all three of us tomorrow.
They would if you'd like to come and have lunch with Patrick Jordan of Black Mountain Wealth Management. Come and visit us. Lunchtime, Blueberry Hill, Flamingo, Decatur at 11:30, for where we will be business networking together, sharing information, and doing a little collusion, possibly at lunchtime, over our Chinese chicken salad. So,
That's
Patrick,
right. You had that last week. I forgot.
I did. It was delicious.
Yeah.
Patrick, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your passion about not just building people's wealth, their wealth, not your own, but that's a nice side benefit of doing your job well, and really more so about your passion about educating Las Vegans, so we can start moving up the ranks and stop being some of the least educated and the worst habits out there. That's awful.